All right, Shouty, you ready? All right, let me check the volume real quick. Hold on. All right, there we go. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I am your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we're live on a Tuesday night, ready to do some podcasting. Find us everywhere you get podcasts. Search the Blackout Tips. Feedback information is in the show notes. It's just that simple. The official weapon of the show is
the taser,
and the unofficial sport,
bullet ball,
and bullet ball. Extreme. And I guess we can go ahead and get right into the show. I don't have anything else to add. All right. It's late. Probably gonna do a quick down and dirty episode. And get right into it. So I guess the first segment, we might as well do coronavirus news, even though it's short. So I won't play the whole song. I'll play a little bit of the song, okay? So we can
since we got a little bit of
articles, got a little bit of news, so we get y'all a little bit of song, okay?
Coronavirus again. Look, here we go again. We got variants. Really need to keep a mask on hand and follow the plan. Get the vaccine and second shots, whether woman or man. Blackout who tips is doing their part, but the dummies expand. Niggas would rather believe a bunch of misinformation. Fuck y'all idiots not getting shots. Now we gotta regress. If we keep going in this direction, we never can rest. Never.
All right. Somebody skip past too far.
Always a bop.
Yep. And somebody probably skipped fast too far. They probably like 45 seconds into some other shit. The main COVID symptoms.
Hit the back button 10 seconds.
The main COVID symptoms have changed.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So apparently Zoe Health Study, a joint effort by researchers at Massachusetts General Hospital, the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, King's College London, Stanford University School of Medicine, and the health app Zoe shared an updated list of symptoms. And it varies based on your vaccinations.
I can see that. Vaccinations matter, y'all.
All right, so here we go. Fully vaccinated versus partial vaccinated versus unvaccinated. Okay. For those in the chat, I'll do you the favor of sharing my screen. That way y'all can see what I'm seeing. Those that listen later, you may be a little confused by what, the way I break this down, but what?
About to say, and is fully vaccinated all 5 of the shots? I think it's 5 of them now.
Karen, fully vaccinated is up to whatever you're allowed to be.
Okay, to whatever you're allowed to be. Okay.
So if you have every shot that they will let you take, you're fully vaccinated. Partially vaccinated are people that probably took 1 or 2 shots and stopped. There's a lot of people that didn't get the boosters. And of course, unvaccinated, you never got anything.
Okay.
So here it is. Fully vaccinated: sore throat, runny nose, blocked nose, persistent cough, and headache.
Okay.
Yes. Not bad. And headache, and they're ranked in the order of how much they're reported. So headache being the 5th least.
Okay.
So you probably get a sore throat, a runny nose, black nose, persistent cough, headache. All right. Partially vaccinated. Headache is number 1.
Oh no.
Runny nose is 2nd. Sore throat is 3rd. Sneezing and then persistent cough is 5th. So it sounds like cough has gone down for everybody. Cough used to be the number 1 thing.
And that may be because now it's since the virus mutated, it actually, I'm under the assumptions it mutated. That has something to do with this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that answer.
My bad.
I was just supporting you going rogue and doing your own hypothesis.
Okay,
you know what
that's
I mean?
just my hypothesis. It mutated, so it would make sense for these things to vary according to the virus.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense to me too. I know there was versions they say that are more likely to get stuck in your nasal passages and your throat and stuff. I don't know the rules, and honestly, don't feel like having them explained to me. I'm just keeping up with the latest info and relaying it.
No problem.
Unvaccinated, headache is number 1. Sore throat, runny nose, fever, and then persistent cough. That fever is only on unvaccinated for top 5 things. So
yeah, the other 2 groups don't be running no fevers.
Yeah, that fever is scary because I feel like that's the shit that really sends you to the hospital is once your body starts raising that temperature
over 100. You're right.
But I mean, according to this study, to me, there's an obvious benefit to being fully vaccinated. Mm-hmm. You know, like it, I know, knock on wood, it's not the flu, it's not a cold, but it's closer to a flu and a cold with those first symptoms than anything in that third category. Like those first two, partially and fully vaccinated people, closer to the cold. The headache thing feels more like a flu thing. I hate the fucking headache you get with the flu and stuff. Mm-hmm. God, it's the worst. But yeah, that motherfucking fever, I'm scared. No, thank you. The last news for this section is children hospitals grapple with a nationwide surge in RSV infections.
What's the RSV?
So RSV, remember when we went to Layla's birthday party and the youngest child had RSV?
Okay, that's what they was talking about. Okay.
Yeah, it's something that babies get a lot of times, but apparently it's so bad now, it's pushing children hospitals to capacity.
Oh no.
The young children's section. It's a respiratory virus that mostly manifests as a mild illness and cold-like symptoms in adults, but can cause pneumonia and bronchitis, bronchiolitis. I never heard that, bronchiolitis, in very young children. It can be life-threatening in infants and older adults. Oh. Most years, infections typically occur in the late fall and winter, often overlapping the flu season, but at least since last year, physicians have begun seeing surges starting during summer months.
Oh, I'm under the assumption with the children's because their systems are still developing and they're not fully developed. That's my assumption. They don't have the strength to fight it off. Like, I don't know, but I'm assuming that might be why. And for older people, you know, maybe you're older, so you're just more susceptible to becoming sick.
Connecticut Children's Hospital in Hartford has had its pediatric inpatient beds full for the last few weeks. With no indication of spread slowing down, officials there are seeking the help of the National Guard and FEMA to set up tents in order to expand capacity. In Texas, doctors at Cook Children's Hospital in Fort Worth told ABC News they are treating some 300 RSV patients a day.
God damn.
Last year, more people were wearing face masks and children were more likely to stay home while sick. This year, parents are sending their children to daycare, school for the first time following 2 years of the pandemic. Children who haven't been previously exposed to respiratory viruses are getting sick.
I can see that.
Health officials in King County, Washington are also alarmed as they brace for more cases once the winter hits. They said they're seeing about 20 to 30 positive cases every day, adding that those are unprecedented figures.
Yeah, I can see that because like adults, a lot of people, you're shut up in the house, you're wearing masks, you're away from people. So as an adult, you hear a lot of people going, I haven't had a cold in a while, or my allergies haven't been acting up, or whatever the case may be. So you have children who, for some of them, never been introduced to these things whatsoever, all of a sudden being introduced to them for the first time. Or for a lot of them, they may have been sick in the past, but you know, your immune system is like, what's this when it shows up? And it ain't good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, you know, this. We also knew there would be a surge in stuff like colds and flus because people are going to be out and about, seeing each other, maskless. And that's a thing that had really reduced the flu even before we had any vaccines for coronavirus. The flu was down to like zero because everybody was social distancing and masking. And so, of course, they're not doing that anymore.
Right.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the regular news. All right, regular news time. Well, you gotta start with the Kanye news. That's kind of how it's been going the last few days. Adidas terminated its partnership with Kanye West, which I mean, you know, not that I'm proud of this, but I did say.
You said yesterday.
I did say.
You was like, yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's right. What was that again? Oh yeah, Rob was right. Rod was right.
Yeah, you did say if Adidas say anything, this was going to be their statement.
No one's gonna put out
at all.
Yeah, no one's gonna put out a statement of we're sticking by Kanye.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to do right now. That's the dumbest shit you could do.
Right.
The smart thing, if you want to maintain a relationship, is to say nothing and just don't terminate the relationship. But yeah, I was like, if they release a statement, it'll only be this. And yeah, they said they're done with it. His $220 million annual deal with the German sports brand, which is worth up 1.5 billion in total, has been terminated. And of course, German sports brand Adidas, they can't be fucking with anti-Semitic dude.
Mm-hmm. They got laws on their book, y'all.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a illegal thing. I just know it looks terrible, and they probably have a history there of probably not wanting to be associated with that shit. So a lot of people then there was this thing about his estimation of worth. So then there's a lot of people that's like, well, now he's no longer a billionaire and all that stuff. Which, it matters to him, I guess, and I guess it matters to people that like to throw that kind of stuff out there. I'm not really sure how it matters to his like lifestyle or his actual power or any of that stuff, but yeah, they said they tried to privately resolve the situation, and he wasn't willing to do anything. Gap also condemned his comments, and they're taking immediate steps to remove Yeezy Gap products from their stores and shut down their website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I heard Foot Locker says they're no longer going to sell his.
I was going to get to that, but yep.
I'm sorry, his stuff and stuff like that is one of the things too. Where if I'm not mistaken, didn't you? I don't know if you read it or I seen it online where they were saying like companies were actually trying to talk to him. He was going in the meetings acting the fool. That was like, oh,
well, that's been a thing that was happening before these rants.
Right.
I don't know a better way to say it, but it's just one of those things where, because I have always looked at it as a mental health struggle for this dude, and he refuses to acknowledge it, and in some weird way he kind of won the reality because no one talks about him having mental health issues. I was talking to a friend. She said she was watching MSNBC, and the way they were covering this story, they don't mention his mental health at all. And I think he kind of it's like he didn't win, but like because we don't really have the tools to analyze this in that way, it's just he's a bad person that needs to go away, and we want to shame him and punish him. And I totally understand those emotions, but even when it wasn't anti-blackness or anything racist, he had fucked up behavior. Not even fucked up, he had behavior that signaled to me he was not right.
Right.
When he would do these meetings that went viral of him yelling at people, jumping on a table, when he met with Trump and jumped on a table, all these things to me were like, these are not normal things, even if you just don't like him.
Right.
Even if you just think this person, like, even think of the other people you don't like that you think are coons, like Candace Owens or something. They don't do that. This is a different animal that we're dealing with when it comes to like mental health. And so I think we just never covered those stories because I was not interested in covering those stories, because I really saw a person that was out of control and out of their minds.
Right.
People absorb this content. We're all just content to each other at this point. We're not people anymore.
Mm-mm.
And so people share it because it's content. And in my opinion, in order for us to not feel bad and exploitative, we then say he doesn't have any issues with his mental health. This is all just how he is. So if he's racist, that's just how he is. If he's anti-black, that's just how he is. If he hates, everything about him is just how he is, as opposed to like, it's kind of some gray area where maybe that's how he is, maybe that's not. The main thing I know is he's not taking care of his mental health.
Right.
And now it's officially costing him because he's been looking and stretching and acting out in way like he's been looking for a reason to be some type of weird martyr. And I think anti-Semitism is the one that he finally found, because he tried it with anti-blackness, and for the most part, people either tolerate it or shit. A lot of black people support it. They be like, yeah,
they do.
I believe those negative things about black people too.
Yep.
This is the first thing he's done where everybody was like, you can't do that.
No, and it's one of those things where a lot of people don't want to talk about it on quote unquote both sides, because if you start talking about that, all of a sudden you start have to talk about his humanity, and that's the thing that people don't want to talk about, because people can say outlandish and harsh and mean and crucial and critical things about him when you just separate that like it has zero factors whatsoever.
Well, I just think
he's doing.
We need to feel like good people, and nobody feels good saying no one looks good to other people when you're shitting on somebody for something they can't help.
Right.
And so whether like I think he could have obviously and can help by taking his meds. I also know once your brain is in that type of loop, it's not operating the way my brain is working. Like my brain is like, yeah, you take your meds and you know, and his brain is going, I'm a god, I don't need this medicine, I'm right. Everybody being upset and giving me attention is proof that I am a god and all powerful and I know everything and blah blah blah, right? So it's just not gonna resonate with him. But because of our privileges, our brains, and because of our circumstances, it's just easier for us to shit on the dude. And then if we want to pile on, it makes us feel better. No one wants to talk about how complicated the shit is or any of that.
It's really complicated.
And there's people that have bipolar disorder, but there's grades to it. Different people's brains react different ways. You can have, you know, some people are more depressive, some people are more manic, some people have a lighter quote unquote level of psychosis compared to somebody like this. You know, it's like some people have BPD. Like there's a bunch of shit that we don't necessarily understand because we're not living in his head and we're not gonna ever understand it. That being said, maybe eventually this stuff will bring him to some point where he can realize, like, have some type of breakthrough. It's probably, I guess what I'm trying to say is I felt like this should have happened a long time ago. Even entering into these deals with him, take out being offensive, take that part out, like disagreeing with what he's saying. I'm talking about yelling at people at these jobs,
right?
Running, you know, hopping on a table, telling them that I make people pick my clothes out of a plastic bag. Sunday, all the Jesus-y Sunday school type shit, all Sunday service, all that type of stuff to me always signified like someone spiraling. And to see these corporate greed monsters with these very lucrative deals because of his fame and his charisma and his and the people that support him and like, you know, sometimes even like a cult like following with like his school and shit, to see people do that, to see, I don't look at Adidas any different than I look at Tucker Carlson putting a mic in his face. It's the same shit. You know he's not healthy, you know that, but you couldn't resist the fucking money. So now it's like you making a big production out of, we're no longer gonna keep giving him $200 million a year. It's like that was a deal that should have been revoked years ago when he was yelling at fucking people that work for you. What like it's weird that it took this, even honestly. Like White Lives Matter should have been out. All this shit should have been out. It was, and not just because it was offensive, but because it's clearly a person that's not taking care of their fucking mental health. So, you know, this is like, when we say he's been enabled, part of the reason he's been enabled is the money people can make from enabling him. Candace Owens don't care about him, but she can make money off of his name. So
agree.
Of course she's on the phone with him every day telling him to keep doing what he's doing. It's really fucking sad. And that's the part that makes me angry. There's plenty of celebrities who've said or done some shit that I thought was offensive or fucked up. But a lot of times they were in control of their faculties.
Right. They was in their right mind.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a level of like, or if they were out of control, it was like a wake up call to get in control.
Right.
This feels ickier. You know what I mean? Like every brand that is now claiming to be like, well, we would never, I don't know. It's like, you ain't shit either. And you owe restitution. You should have to, like, you should feel responsible for putting him in a position where his comments mattered that much to people. Cause you wanted to sell cause he can sell shoes. You were like, we're going to overlook everything until he's so out of control. Anyway, Like there's no pat on the back for these companies. Is what I'm saying. Fuck them too. Foot Locker is the latest retailer to cut ties with Kanye West, so they won't sell the shoes. Those resellers, I'm 90% sure. Yesterday, that article about the resellers are really, they want Adidas to pick a side. They're probably just trying to sell the shoes.
Of course.
I guarantee you they hiked up the price the second they heard this shit.
Yep, because they're gonna become limited editions.
Yeah, like I don't look at them. Like I said, it's a sad capitalistic state of affairs when people really were just like, we're in it for the money. We know eventually he will destroy himself, and then we'll get a pat on the back for saying we don't stand for that. And like, you kind of do though. The film studio shelved a completed $2 million Kanye West documentary. Said we cannot support any content that amplifies his platform. Yeah, it was titled The Myth of Ye. It was financed by MRC. It stood to make up to $10 million in distribution revenue. Directed by Zach Heinzerling. It was about Ye's complex relationship with the media and his many infamous moments. So it was also going to be like, look at how crazy he be acting. We didn't know he was crazy. Like that's right. How everyone feels to me. We're like, we didn't know he was shit. We gotta wait till the heat died down. We'll release this in 2024. Don't worry about that.
Watch, because this was finished. They were about to ship that shit at the door. They had the trucks loaded. They was like, hey dog, we can't send the trucks out. What? But we finished. They was like, no. Hold on to it until this cools down, then release.
I also wonder what happens to the people that worked for the line. Do they retain their jobs? I know that Adidas owns a lot of branding and stuff for the line of the Yeezys and stuff. But the thing I wonder is, if you're saying you're cutting ties with him, how can you keep selling them ugly ass shoes? Like, it's like, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is the thing that make me just go, so y'all greed? It's just greed. It's not like, don't try to mask it in some type of like activism or a moral stance. If you're going to continue to put out his line and go, but they no longer Yeezys because he's not getting the money, so please continue to buy these high priced ass ugly shoes. If that's what you're going to do, that's not a heroic stance.
No, we'll see. But no, that's
like,
not.
Anyway, this is crazy. A Jewish educator at his Donda Academy has resigned in the wake of his anti-Semitic comments. Fam,
in his unaccredited school, you might as well get Mickey Mouse tickets.
Right.
You're gonna have your child graduating the university is gonna be like, you can't go here.
I was cool with the cult until he got all anti-Semitic. Now I was like, what kind of cult leadership is this? Like, what? That's
where you draw your line in the cult.
Yeah, I was cool with the cult. I was down. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything else up until this point, the anti-slavery stuff, black slavery was a choice and white lives matter. I was down with all that shit. That was cool. I didn't realize me as a Jew was gonna be offended at some point. Now I don't want to teach these little black kids that he said, they lives don't matter as much as the white kids.
You're gonna have other people pull their children out too, because for a lot of people, I personally think a lot of people that have their children going here under the illusion that it's a way to get them into the music industry, get them record deals because it's Ye. So all of a sudden, with him doing this, it makes you go into the school look stupid now. So I guarantee you, a lot of people are like, what the fuck am I doing here? Let me pull your ass out and going back to regular ass school or whatever private school I was paying for.
Jaylen Brown reverses decision to stick with Ye's Donda Sports. Aaron Donald also announced his departure. So Donda Sports was something that Kanye started, I want to say 2 years ago or last year. And Jaylen Brown was one of the people that signed with them. Aaron Donald signed with them. I can't remember if Antonio Brown signed with them or not, but they now have no actual clients because everybody quit. And Jaylen Brown said yesterday he was sticking with him, and then of course everybody was like, what the fuck are you doing? Because Jaylen Brown claims to be kind of like pro-black and woke and activist adjacent, and so of course everybody was like, why would you fuck your brand up over Kanye West? And so he said he's now recognizes there are times when my voice and my position can't coexist in spaces that don't correspond to my stance on my values. And for that reason, I'm terminating my association with Donda Sports. So there you go.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting because the thing is, because of Kanye and his brand and him having his hands and being associated with so many things, there are going to be a lot of people that's going to lose their jobs off of this. A lot of people that's going to be unemployed off of this. Like him acting the fool ain't just impacting him. Like it's impacting these companies. All of a sudden, all the resources that they had dedicated to him, we don't need these people anymore. So now we got to reshuffle. Now we got to cut jobs. Like it's like a lot of time people feel like it is actually bigger than him just acting a fool.
Yeah, I do wonder what happens with that. We'll find out, because I could easily see somebody being like, look, we cut ties with him. We don't stand to make the same amount of money we were making from selling this shit.
Right.
So it's not as profitable. We hired people to specifically work on this.
The whole department, right?
Yeah. So y'all, like, we don't need y'all no more. That's it. Let's get into some other news. Let's see. What was I? Oh, okay. Bikini baristas win a lawsuit over unconstitutional dress code.
Wearing bikinis?
A federal court says the city's dress code for scantily clad coffee servers is unconstitutional. So basically, this is in Everett, Washington. There's drive-up shacks called Bikini Baristas. You can go get your coffee from women wearing bikinis.
Okay.
In 2017, they passed a law prohibiting quick service food and drink peddlers from showing off certain body parts, including their stomachs, backs, below the shoulder blades, and the top 3 inches of the legs below the buttocks. The city didn't even pretend to tie the law to food safety, instead citing concerns about potential exploitation of women and the adverse impact upon minors, because, it's always the children.
The fuck?
A group of bikini baristas sued, calling it a matter of women's rights. And in addition to instituting a dress code for the barista, the law expanded the city's definition of lewd conduct to include any exposure of more than 1/2 of the part of the female breast located below the top of the areola. The bottom 1/2 of the anal cleft. The anal cleft.
What the hell is an anal cleft?
I don't know, but I'm not Googling it.
No, don't Google it.
Or
Ain't no telling what's gonna pop up.
Any portion of the areola or nipple of the female's breast. And they created a new crime called facilitating lewd conduct to target the owners of the bikini establishments.
So basically, this is an attack on women. Don't be out here just like whores, bitches. Like basically that's what this law is.
I bet big Starbucks was behind this. So yeah, in 2017, a U.S. district judge said the city couldn't enforce the law. The city appealed. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit reversed course, holding in 2019 that the lower court had been wrong. The Ninth Circuit rejected the argument that the law violates the barista's First Amendment rights to free expression and lifted the injunction, meaning the ban is back on while the lawsuit proceeds in district court. Now a judge finally ruled on the merits of the case. In an October 19th opinion, U.S. District Court Judge Ricardo Martinez held that Everett's dress code is unconstitutional because it violates the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution, because they said female and not just everybody.
Right. It's one of those things where, y'all are actually specifically targeting women. No.
Right.
And the thing is, the whole rule was to target women. Like that was the whole purpose. And this is something that you couldn't hide. You couldn't hide it. It's like, other than this, why? And it's also one of those things. I know Hooters and all of them have uniforms too, but I don't see nobody walking around banning that shit. And the toilet tops, whatever that other place he went to, they have places like this. No, they don't do bikinis, don't get me wrong, but they have other places where you have women dressed in like not your standard uniforms, as far as like a McDonald's and stuff like that, all of the time. And so this is somebody that had a problem. You ain't got to eat there, baby. You ain't got to eat there.
Yep. So but yeah, that's such a, I don't know, it's such a weird thing to, like, we need to start a whole new law over this shit. Can't y'all just not go?
Don't go.
And if the public can't help themselves but to go support the bikini baristas, then I guess the public is fucking spoken. You know what I mean? Like, it's always weird. Like, and like you said, it's weird because like Hooters is a whole business.
Right.
Like there's other places where this happens. So it's like it's not fast food, it's not quick serve coffee. So Hooters can put them titties out there. I don't get the difference. This is so funny to me. So this is such a on go. Liberal Democrats.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Liberal Democrats wrote a letter urging Biden to rethink his Ukrainian strategy. Which for a lot of people, they were like, so you mean essentially to negotiate with Putin, which is like, you do realize what Putin's going to do. He's going to take Ukrainian land. That's what the negotiation is. How much of Ukraine do we give Putin to stop the war? And they wrote this letter and all hell broke loose. 30 people signed it, including the squad. And it was so ill received by everybody, including liberal Democratic people. Like, because one, this is what Republicans have been urging Biden to do. Because, Republicans are in the bag for Putin. And this is basically conceding a win to Putin, which is, hey, take some of their land and some of their people and all this shit, and that's fine.
Yeah. Y'all do know that it's never enough, right? Y'all do know the whole purpose is for him to take that and then all the other surroundings. Y'all do know it won't stop the fuck.
Right. So it was so bad that within like 24 hours or something, like it wasn't very long, they actually withdrew their own letter.
Yeah, and
put out a tweet saying so.
Because all jokes aside, it's like, and sometimes this what frustrates me. I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of times this frustrates me. We live in a world now where people on the left can be so smart that they can be too smart, that they can also be to the point that they're to the extreme, and sometimes your extremes align with the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, well, I'm going to be so extreme that I'm going to be too extreme for my own party. Okay, nobody minds you being extreme, but you can't be so extreme that you leave the goddamn party and represent nothing that the party represents.
It's that horseshoe theory, right? Where like people on the opposite sides that once you get to kind of certain extremes, you kind of closer together than y'all further apart.
Correct.
Because what you're really saying is we want to be in opposition to Joe Biden at every turn.
Yep.
Or to prove that we're not whatever. We're not, you're signaling to people, we're not blank, we're this. And Republicans we're obstructionists, and we're always going to be against Joe Biden. Progressives are always threatening to be obstructionists, and it's because they're more progressive than Joe Biden. But one of the things that keeps happening is because people want to be like anti-war and almost internationalist to some extent, we have such simplistic takes on stuff because we're a fucking imperial power.
Right.
And we either believe that we should be trying to help people resolve conflicts, or we believe we should be causing conflicts to get whatever the fuck we want. And there's really not a lot of in between in America. And we think everything goes through us. So when two countries are fighting that aren't necessarily directly related to us, there becomes this thing of, well, what do we do? And so sometimes, in this case, Republicans would like to see Putin and Russia. They've deified him. They'd love to see him win. And of course, not just because we're not supposed to be fucking with Putin, but because it's the right thing to do. America leads and goes, hey, NATO, everybody, we have to get together. We can't just have a nuclear power attacking another country just because they made up of false accusations and started a war.
Right.
And sometimes that is just the right thing to do.
Because us doing nothing is going to be a problem.
That's what I was going to say is those people that are that liberal and progressive or whatever, in this case, they act like us doing nothing is like a good, like, well, we didn't do anything. We're not responsible. And that's one of the bigger problems I have with the extreme progressive platform is that a lot of them don't want to be in power because not being in power means you're not responsible, and not being responsible means you get to complain about everything. And I worry about what happens when y'all have power and y'all have a say, because at that point you don't get to walk away from the tools and be like, hey man, I didn't do it. Like, no, you got to make a choice. And guess what? It's America. A lot of people aren't going to like whatever choice you do end up making. So when I see something like this, 30 people who have won their elections, who have a voice, who have a say, who are able to vote and able to put forward bills, are like, we need to abdicate our power. And when they got shut on for it, they didn't even power through. Like, man, fuck y'all. This is a matter of principle. We think you should negotiate with Putin. It doesn't matter how it looks, how it makes us look. They all went, the wind's blowing the other way. Guess what, guys? We didn't mean it. We was just playing.
And all jokes aside, this is one reason why it irritates me, because you need to be built to last. And some of y'all motherfuckers are not built to motherfucking last. You're not built to deal with anything. You're not built for it. And the reason why I say you're not built for it, a lot of these politicians have been doing this for a long time. They've had to make decisions that people didn't agree with, and they stuck by that shit. They've had to deal with the criticism. They've had to deal with the backlash. They've had to deal with people dragging their name. They've had to deal with that. A lot of these people have not had to deal with it. And on top of that, you're so concerned about what goddamn social media is saying versus the reality of your constituents and the people that are fucking voting for you. Because if you would have talked to Nancy Pelosi and some of these other people, you would not have made this goddamn decision. It sounds like you didn't consult people in your party. Sounds like you didn't talk to nobody. Sounds like y'all been listening to these fuckers online and be like, you know what? Yeah. But guess what? Them people online is a small percentage of the voting populace. When this got out to the masses, people like, the fuck is this? You do know if we do nothing, Putin would bring his ass over here. The fuck. And y'all was like, oh, my bad. We sorry. We scared. Well, then you put like this. You're the same people that want other people that have been doing this for years. You're the same people that want them to lay down and die and hand you over the reins for you to do bullshit like this. No, take it from them. But you're not willing to do the work.
The withdrawal comes a day after the letter led by Congressional Progressive Caucus Chair Rep. Pramila Jayapal triggered fierce pushback from many Democrats, as well as from Ukrainian officials who argued it was unrealistic to negotiate with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This is another thing with a lot of super liberal concepts. They all go along the lines of we'll be reasonable and then people will react reasonably. And we have too much history in this country and this world of there are people who just aren't going to be reasonable.
Right.
You know, it's like when someone, not to go through this shit again, but it's kind of like when people went defund the police and there were people that were reasonably like, what do you mean? And some people, and then there were 12 different answers. Some of them things I completely agree with, think are completely reasonable. And some of them things I think are batshit crazy that no one will ever go for. And so people would start, well, imagine a world without police. We don't need policing. We don't And instead of getting people on your side, you got people going, I'm not ready to live in a world where things happen to me and nothing is done. And then they go, well, no, it's not that we're going to have restorative justice. We're going to do this. All of that shit counts if someone will go along with it. All of it. None of that shit counts when someone goes, I'm going to just be out here raping people. And it's nothing. Y'all just want to talk to me. Y'all want to fucking, community discussions. Well, I don't want to community discuss shit. I'm just going to keep doing this. If you let me out, I'm going to do it again. And there's nothing you're going to be able to stop me. And there's never a good answer for that because people, there are just some people who are going to do that shit. And nobody ever and because we don't want to concede the ideological point, people go, well, no, we'll just educate and we'll have schools and everyone's like, and it's still going to be some rapists. So what are we going to do? You know, and let's not even say rape because people always go, why y'all go to rapists? You know why, but murder, just a motherfucker that steals everything all the time. Just keep stealing, comes in your house every day, kicks in the door, steals shit and goes, I'll be back tomorrow because I don't fuck restorative justice. There's gotta be some mechanism in place to do something to that person so they stop doing that. That's just it. A person that beats their wife, there has to be something. Not saying what we have now is great. We're saying maybe you got a solution that's better. But the solution can't be there's nothing, right? This doesn't work. Let's have nothing. But it's an ideological, theoretical point. It doesn't have to exist in reality because I'll never be able to institute. I'll never have that kind of power.
Right.
So I can do stunts like that make me look good on social media, but don't actually govern or anything. And I think this is the international war version of that. Here's a stunt. Why don't we just talk to them?
And people was like, fuck your stunt. People are dying. This is not the time to goddamn stunt.
Or just, motherfucker, if you thought we could talk to you, think we wouldn't have did that?
Right. All these people that's been dealing with Putin and war and shit, like all these historians that people, you know, because Putin been around a very long time. So people are like, no, people have dealt with him and had interactions with him. And for a lot of people, they go, no, you have to do certain things because of how he responds.
It's just like, do you think they weren't, do you think Biden said, I'm just don't want to have a conversation with the guy? Right. And that was the end of it? Like, just stupid. But yeah. And like I said, I don't know what's worse, that they did this stupid shit or that they legitimately seem like they have not thought about it and immediately fucking withdrew their own point. Like, I don't know what's worse. You like I think like it almost be better if they had some follow through and was like, I don't care if it's unpopular, we think it's right. But it feels like that thing where politicians who have votes end up tweeting and you go, why are you tweeting me about this shit when you're the one in Congress or you're the one in the House? Like,
right along.
Why aren't you trying to organize and pass a bill? Matter of fact, why are you even writing this fucking letter? Why aren't y'all trying to organize and pass something? If y'all really believe in it, like, what's the point of the optics of looking good on Twitter for me? What's the point of going on some podcast to me? Like, to the person you're claiming I'm trying to help you. Okay, how are you helping me? I'm gonna go on a podcast and promote my brand. Like, my nigga, that's not the help that you think it is.
And it's not. And it's one of those things where, all jokes aside, this is when social media and the real world collide, because this what they're doing is the shit that social media tells you to do. All jokes aside, like, this is something them niggas on social media sit all day. These are their ideas. And I can guarantee you they got this idea off of social media thinking it was cool. And guess what? It hit the real world and they realized the shit don't work.
Two more points too. This is 2 weeks before the fucking election.
Right.
Read the goddamn room. We do not have time for this demotivational Democrats are terrible, Joe Biden is terrible bullshit. Secondly, Biden has governed so well, he hasn't given them a lot of room. Like, when you think about the kind of shit they were like, this is why we shouldn't even have Biden, he's accomplished a bunch of shit that they claimed he would never do. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing the student loan shit. He's fighting against weed criminalization. He's giving you so much shit that you said he can't and won't do. You know, he got that fucking Build Back Better shit passed. The most climate change legislation and money that we've ever done in the United States history was done under him a few months ago. He hasn't left them a lot of room to play the he ain't shit card. And so here's this one area where they think we got him. And everybody was like, if y'all don't shut the fuck up. Now, what I appreciate is we've come far enough that motherfuckers can finally say with their whole chest, the stakes are too high. Shut the fuck up.
Right.
If you are not coming with some constructive shit that can be done, shut the fuck up. Motherfuckers about to lose affirmative action. Right. We've already lost Roe v. Wade. We do not have time for the demotivational people that are supposedly on our team telling us why we shouldn't be trying this hard or why what we're doing isn't working or isn't good enough. We actually just need to all grab the fucking rope in this tug of war and start leaning back. That's it. We lost the fucking the privilege and the right and the luxuries that we had earlier in 2016 to be like, I feel like this. We don't got that no more. So it's interesting to see a pushback finally, and it's interesting to see them accept a pushback. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know if sometimes these motherfuckers are so tone deaf, it drives you crazy because you're like, y'all know y'all wrong. Y'all know this is the wrong time. And you know this is gonna hurt everything you say you believe in and that I believe in. So this isn't really a great strategy other than it makes you 30 people look great because you're above it. You're pure. The rest of us are all dirty pieces of shit. But what is that going to help us actually pass? Right. And so, yeah, it's good to see that they finally, like, for once, they were like, ew, but guess what else they did?
What?
It sounded like they lying. So by lying, I mean, one, they blamed it on overzealous staffers releasing this letter without their approval.
Don't believe you.
Which makes no sense because, like,
and the staffers is like, why am I in it? You told me to do this shit.
Through the working people under the bus. Jayapal said that the letter had been drafted several months ago and released by staff without vetting. Think about this, though. What was different in Russia several months ago?
Nothing.
Not a goddamn thing. Not a goddamn thing was different. Like, there was there was not some like moment where we were like, we could have talked it out with him if he had just wrote this letter June 30th. But then the staffers came out and said, that's not true. This letter is vetted. They did tell us to put it out, and it isn't fucking 3 months old. It was like, it's from this month. Some people said they signed it like Monday. What the fuck? Why are y'all lying? Y'all supposed to be the honest, transparent, better than now motherfuckers that's not really politicians. We here to really be honest and represent the people. Why are y'all playing fucking games 2 weeks out? Are you an asset? What is the meaning behind this?
Right. And also one of the things is very insulting to the staffers. So now you're going to turn around and you may have staffers quit and be like, the fuck? You threw me under the goddamn bus for some shit that you signed?
Right. So, yeah, it's just such weird timing and weird strategy. I'm glad they got the pushback and received it. Let me be honest. Like, let me give them some credit because, I mean, you'd almost respect a double down more, but damn, I'm glad they didn't because it's really too late for us to be fighting over this stupid shit.
And also maybe it's just me. It's one of those things where you said a lot of them have made it their brand to be anti-Biden, like it's their brand. And so, like you said, Biden has been doing things and has been checking off a lot of shit off their box, but all of a sudden they can't do anything with their brand anymore. So they're like, well, what can I do? And I think this was a way for them to get attention, to get back, quote unquote, on brand. And not trying to be funny, I feel like this is similar to the way people do on social media. I call them fire starters. People who wake up every day on social media and they consistently look for fires. They consistently look for fights. They consistently look for some form of confrontation. And if it's not a confrontation, then they will start their own confrontation. They'll set their own building on fire in order to get some shit cracking. And this is what it was. It was boring to them. They put like this. Biden made it so they had to get along. And they were tired of getting along. Yeah. And so they was like, well, since we can't get along, what can we do to start a fire so that we can keep our brand afloat?
Yeah, it's like, how do we separate our brand? It's like, correct. That's not what anyone else is concerned about right now.
Yep.
No one is concerned about who's the most liberal people in the fucking Congress or the House. We're literally in a fight for human rights, just people to get their rights back. We actually don't give a fuck about which of y'all is better now. We just want you all on the same page. When the shit we're voting for right now is to have a majority in the Senate. No one's going, but who'll be the most liberal person in that majority? We're like, whatever the fuck Biden says y'all need to pass, you need to put on his motherfucking desk. None of us cares who is the most liberal of y'all. You know what I mean? And then the thing that compounds it is the lies afterwards. Because either the staff lying or y'all lying. And honestly, I believe the staff.
I do too. I believe the staff.
Stop doing that. Stop telling lies, bro. Stop telling lies, bro. You heard what I just told you, right?
Stop telling lies.
And what's so funny is it's insulting and how mad and how upset everybody was and how on one accord everybody was. For January the 6th, when them fuckers came in there, they didn't give a fuck about how liberal or unliberal you were, did they? When they came up in there, they said, we want all you motherfuckers. And people have all of a sudden forgotten them people on the other side, they don't give a fuck. They do not care.
All I'm saying is this. I find it ironic that these motherfuckers are supposed to be like our most aggressive, and yet at the same time, they think we just need to go talk to Putin and it'll work itself out. Like, who's living in reality? Do this motherfucker seem like he want to talk to you? Because it don't seem like that's the vibe he's giving off. So, yeah, man, they was wild for that shit.
And it wouldn't be surprising if other people start talking to them and sitting their asses down and was like, hey, stop this bullshit. Get reelected. You're going to fuck around and not win your seats back.
I don't even know if these people are running on this list or not. I just don't. It just seems stupid and ill-timed and foolhardy. And no, I don't buy this whole, the staff did it. Yes, the staff operated on its own, sans any approval from 30 fucking politicians. Fuck out of here, man.
Right.
So at least stand in your mess and be like, yeah, we fucked up. We shouldn't have did that one. Like, I see what y'all saying. The end, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move into another segment. Let's see. Oh, this is real quick. If you do not have like a vehicle or something, you can't get to the polls. Lyft is offering 50% off to rides to the polls.
Let's go.
I know it's not free or whatever like it would have been in 2020, but you know, hopefully that helps some people if they're listening to the sound of my voice. And they need to be able to get to the polls
quick. And you don't want to take, maybe you go, well, I might get there quicker and back and forth quicker than
than a bus,
transportation.
But you gotta work, whatever.
You ain't got to wait on nobody.
I'm literally just trying to help, and hopefully
right.
that helps somebody out there that's listening to the sound of my voice.
Use all your resources. You know, look around in wherever you are, your local municipalities. You know, a lot of times people have things that might actually do this for free. Just check in your local municipalities to be sure.
All right, let's get to some more news.
Let me see what you want to be. You better move your body. You better move your feet. And I want to groove. Show me what's cool. Riding, caring, baby. LGBTQ news.
I try to take us down, but we still around. We lit. I try to still shine, but we on the ride. We lit. But you can't do what we're about to do. We lit. Black guys, tips.
LGBTQ news.
LGBTQ news. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know how we do. Let's talk about it. Pastor says pronouns are demonic and part of an attack by the devil. I gotta say, like, if that's the best the devil got, then I mean, why y'all so worried?
Said that's his best move.
If his go-to move is pronouns, I mean,
he needs to find more work to do. Then
sound like y'all done ran out of shit as Christians. Y'all won everything. Damn. Imagine that being the worst part of your day was, oh no, not the pronouns.
Not the pronouns.
What is Jesus ever gonna do against the power of pronouns? Oh, not the pronouns in the bio. The other day I saw a person and they said refer to them as they, and I knew that Jesus was weakened by this. He's like, oh, I can overcome, you know, leprosy, but not they. Fuck out of here. Yeah, this dude's name is Greg Locke of Global Vision Bible Church, and he said it's demonic to specify one's pronouns, which means that even if you say my pronouns are he, him, he thinks that's demonic. Like, even if you have traditional like
pronouns,
hey, just call me she, her. Wow, Satan is really up in here. I can feel him.
The things that you already been calling me. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No.
Speak in the Bible, they always make an emphasis out of their pronouns.
Now, is that true? I don't read the Bible much, so y'all tell me. Is that what's happening in the Bible? Like the demons are coming out and they're like, first of all, he, him, and they.
No.
Secondly, I'm gonna eat your baby. Like what?
First of all, call me she, her.
Yeah.
That's not how this works.
My name is Beelzebub, and I go by she and her.
They normally are legion.
That's not what's happening. Maybe they updated the Bible since
we ain't got the updated version.
It's the King, Queen, or they James version. And I ain't seen this new version with the demon. The demons all look like him on Powerpuff Girls. Like what? What is wrong with Christians? Why they always invent some shit to be mad about?
Oh yeah, y'all don't want none of this. Yeah, I'm going there right now.
Like he really broke out the AAVE for this ignorance. No, y'all don't want none of this. Okay.
I'm good, sir.
I'm finna to go right there right now. Okay. You all up in the Kool-Aid without a straw. All right. This is about to happen. Like, why did he turn to a rerun of Martin?
Oh no.
Y'all don't want none of this. I'm about to get to stepping. Okay, we stepping with the big dogs today.
Right now, I'm going there. It's what demons do. What's your name? Oh, it's singular. Oh, that's cool. How you want me to address you? Us, they, them.
That is not how. What Bible is this man preaching from?
I don't know. Yeah.
And also, like, you ever notice when somebody about to do some real bigoted shit, it don't be a quote from the Bible. Like, it's never like
it don't be.
Turn to Luke chapter verse.
Turn to James. Turn to 2 Timothy.
It's never that. It's always
open up your Bibles to Ezekiel.
It's always like, listen, Christians walk like this. Okay, I'm walking. Oh, the Lord Jesus. Oh, I'm gonna pray tonight. But the demons, they be walking like us, they, them. You notice that? You see what I'm saying? Like,
sir, if you don't get out this pulpit and quit wasting my time,
just freestyling.
You see, it's been demonic for 2,000 years, and y'all want to play games with them, teaching your kids all that stupid, wicked nonsense. If you tell your kids that go to a public school that they ought to respect people by using proper pronouns, you're a sorry parent. You ought to be whooped.
What?
And got people in there clapping for that bullshit. Boy, I swear to God, these motherfuckers here.
Sir.
School board proposes banning furries after rumors of litter boxes in schools spread. Shout out to Joe Rogan for helping spread this bullshit. So this is a Republican, it's like a QAnon Republican conservative talking point thing that's been going around where they basically say they're letting kids be trans in the schools, and it's gotten so bad some of the kids come dressed as animals and they say, I'm a squirrel, and the teachers have no choice but to sit out a bowl full of nuts and let them eat it. You think I'm joking? I know you think I'm joking. I swear to God, they're saying these things in these spaces.
They're saying it, but I was like, how many students actually?
None, Karen.
Right. That's
you
what
fucking
I'm
know it's
saying.
none.
It's
Everyone
zero.
knows it's
I
none.
was like, this shit don't make no sense.
But because they are able to go to these school board meetings with this crazy QAnon bullshit, they're actually getting the school board to have to consider this stuff. This is in North Carolina, Iredell Statesville schools. Jeff James, superintendent, said he spent hours responding to emails and messages on social media about this rumor that students were dressing up as animals and using litter boxes in the school restrooms.
You know, none of this is true.
This is like when they were talking about trans people in the bathroom bill, and they would Photoshop like a big ass wrestler in like a skimpy dress with makeup on and shit, and clearly a man, and be like, you gonna let this use the bathroom next to your little girl? And you're like, is this happening anywhere?
No, it's not.
What like why are you making up a situation to be scared of it that is not happening? This fear-mongering bullshit. And there's people that fall for this, especially under the guise of protecting kids. So he said the rumors are false. There's no evidence that students are bringing litter boxes into the school restrooms.
Right, because somebody reported that.
That didn't stop school board member Brian Schumacher from supporting the proposal to ban ears, tails, gloves, collars, or full furry costumes from being worn in the school. The proposal has exceptions for school spirit days and theater. Noticeably not Halloween, the devil's Christmas. We're trying to address it before it becomes a major problem, he said. It's not a problem.
That's what I'm about to say. It's not a problem. The fuck are we talking about here?
It's like my whole thing of I'm trying to address the whole like Rihanna trying to come to my house thing before it's a problem. You know what I mean? I don't want her coming to my house.
She's not coming.
What? Well, I just want to get ahead of it, Karen.
I'm sorry.
Want to stop by unannounced.
I am sorry to disappoint you. She is not on her way.
Wow, you say that till you open the door.
Are you on the agenda?
You say that until you look on the Ring doorbell and Rihanna's out there with A$AP Rocky and they like, we just want to hang out in your house for a little bit. Well, not me. You won't catch me slipping. We have classrooms, and I wasn't talking about sex, everybody. Calm down. I know y'all hate Chris Rock for making that joke. We have classrooms with our teachers, and you're wasting your time focusing on a kid. I mean, unless Rihanna wants to have sex, that's different. But in general, I'm not. I'm just saying to come hang out. Or if A$AP wants to have sex, you know. I mean, listen, I'll probably be like, y'all can have sex. Maybe I will watch, but I don't want to participate. I feel like that's out of bounds. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's why we need to pass this bill.
No.
So that we can, because you see the confusion that just happened in the chat. I'm just trying to say, we have classrooms without teachers, and you're wasting your time focusing on a kid at Scott's Elementary Panthers basketball game who wants to wear a cat ear headband, said parent Jean Foster. Shout out to Jean, she real. We spent a lot of time on masks over the past few years, a frustrated Foster told Queen City News. After the meeting, we spent a lot of time talking about which books we're going to want to ban. All of that is a distraction from what's important. This was just something else, something ludicrous. You may not want it to be a distraction, but it was a distraction, a large distraction, said school board member Martin Page.
Sound like somebody's like, we sick of this bullshit.
I feel so bad for the parents and school board members that have been dealing with these crazy motherfuckers all over the country for the last 2 years because of the pandemic and social media.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Rogan.
Right. And it's one of those things where they got in these positions of power, and now they're in there talking that crazy shit, but now they have power and authority.
Right. It is crazy. Trump judge upholds don't say gay law because bullying is a fact of life.
What?
That's saying if you're an LGBTQ kid and you're getting bullied, get used to it. That's just a fact of life. Trump judges. Lambda Legal and Southern Legal Counsel and Southern Poverty Law Center joined together with a group of LGBTQ students and their families to advocate for a preliminary injunction on HB 1557, which prohibits K-3 teachers from talking about sexual orientation and gender identity issues with their students. The lawsuit argued that the law restricts free speech and encourages bullying, but U.S. District Judge Wendy Berger dismissed their request. Plaintiffs have not directed this court to any fact that would lead a reasonable person to believe that the law prohibits students from discussing their families or vacations at school or even on school assignment, or that it would prohibit a parent from attending a school function in a pride t-shirt or generally discussing their family structure in front of other people. Lambda legal staff attorney Kel Olson called Berger's decision wrong on the law and disrespectful to LGBTQ plus families and students. Yeah, basically saying y'all haven't demonstrated that this law is discriminatory because y'all don't have an example of you being discriminated against under the law, which I don't know is if they've fully gone into effect yet.
So basically, when the law comes in effect, y'all come so you can fucking shoot it down. You're gonna tell me, well, that's the law. Fuck.
The students and the families at the heart of this case have experienced more bullying in the months since the law went into effect than ever before in their lives, but the court dismissed their experiences by saying bullying is a fact of life. So the bullying is probably, associated with the fact that this law is in place.
Right.
And that they're fighting against it, which would give you proof to go, oh, this law does have an effect on people. It's emboldening people to discriminate and be bullies. And they're going, yeah, well, you can't prove that bullying is because of this law. Bullying is just life. You might just get bullied that much anyway. Berger acknowledged some of the plaintiff's bullying worries, but said that it's simply a fact of life that many middle schoolers will face criticism and harsh judgment of their peers.
Bullying is not okay. It's not okay as children. It is not okay as adults. Bullying is not okay.
Trump judge, just got to uphold what Trump said. Let's see what else happened. Last one. Wait, did I say that article twice? Why was there two of it? Oh no, they just used a different. Damn, there's a lot of bad news today, y'all. I promise I'm gonna get us out of this segment.
Okay.
The religious right is now targeting sexless marriages as selfishness, and they want to ban those too. In July, the Supreme Court.
How you gonna ban sexless marriage?
First of all, how you gonna prove it's sexless? What are you just gonna use the lack of children to be like y'all ain't fucking?
Yes, the lack of children.
Okay, I don't have no kids, but let me tell you, I am sticking it in. No, in July, the Supreme Court,
like she is getting this dick.
Right. I am digging it down up in here. Okay, it's not for lack of effort. In July, the Supreme Court of Sweden ruled in a landmark case that a relationship doesn't have to involve sex to be considered significant in a case involving an asexual couple in which one of the two parties is deceased. The court emphasized that a relationship should be characterized by a close community and personal terms that normally occurs between a married couple, and that sex doesn't have to be involved for that to happen. It was a significant win for asexual people in Sweden. But of course, that's not like that in America. So as obtained by Politico, some 83 Christian nationalist groups led by the Alliance Defending Freedom released a letter in July imploring Senate State Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, y'all's fave, to block the Respect for Marriage Act because marriage equality somehow opens the door further to immorality like platonic marriages. So they're not just happy enough yes. They're not just happy enough to be like, yeah, this is about people being gay. And it's one of those things where, like, we always say, slippery slope, the shit will come to you eventually. I don't know why people think just because LGBTQ people are on the front lines that the fight ends with the front line.
Right.
That's how the fight starts, not how it ends. HR 8404 will require federal recognition of any one state's definition of marriage without any parameters whatsoever. This would include plural marriages, time-bound marriages, open marriages, marriages involving a minor, or relative platonic marriages.
We have laws on the books for some of these. The fuck?
Right. It is impossible to ignore the call out of the perfidious, groomer, libel conservatives. Keep trying, that is recycled garbage from 1970s. However, we cannot ignore the religious right call for platonic and asexual marriages to be banned also.
But aren't these the same people who in some states won't even raise the age of like consent child marriages to 18? You know, it's really small. Like
but why do you feel that that's inconsistent with what they're saying?
Because you said something about child marriages. I was like, oh, but there's laws against that shit.
Yeah, this would include, yeah, but what they're saying is they want a definition of marriage, and they don't want I see what you're saying. Yeah. They're saying they don't want plural marriages, time-bound marriages, which is like we're gonna be married for 5 years, open marriages involving a minor or relative, or platonic marriage. But I don't know that these are the same people that are okay with minor or relative marriages.
Okay.
But to legally want to, the problem isn't that they're against that. A lot of people should be against that. The problem is that they group that as the same thing as like marriage equality,
right?
As even an open marriage or even a platonic marriage.
These
like
are adults.
You know, it's like when people say, I'm against gay people and pedophiles, and you're like, what the fuck does a pedophile do with being gay though?
They are not the same.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what I think the problem is.
Okay, I'm with you now.
But yeah, it's just they coming for everybody, y'all. Just
they coming for you. Get your ass to the polls and vote. If your state early votes early, get your ass in there and vote.
Yeah. All right, let's move into some lighter news. That was pretty sad. Downer news. Let's do some white people news.
White people news. Yeah, that is. Excelling to the barbecue. We might be problematic or a little bit bitter. That's so really harsh on our fragile pieces. White people news.
All right, let's see what the whites are up to. James Corden is going through quite a time. He was accused of being rude in a restaurant called Balthazar, owned by Keith McNally. And the guy Keith McNally went on Twitter and called out James Corden and pointed out several examples where he was mean and rude to waiters for like they messed up an order or something, and he demanded like free drinks, that they comp all the drinks he already had and they get a round of free drinks after that. Big shot, big dog. They fucked up his wife's order for like a egg yolk omelet and a salad, and the first one had a little bit of white on it, so they went back and remade it. And then but they forgot that she wanted a salad, so they brought fries by accident. He yelled at them and all this shit too, right?
Oh no.
And so the guy exposed him and was like, this motherfucker rude, fuck him, he's banned from the restaurant, he's 86. And then later the guy was like, you know what, I talked to him and he apologized and he's no longer banned, and my restaurant is all about second chances and I'm a piece of shit. And like I forget what his thing was, but it was something like he also had something that he did wrong at some point, so how could he ban this guy, blah blah, whatever. Well, James Corden has admitted that he was rude and wrong, and he will absolutely apologize in person. Yep. On a late, I guess he was on a late show. He said, things are going to get written about me. Never complain, never explain is very much my motto. Look, when you make a mistake, you got to take responsibility, began Corden. Know that he recently took a trip to Balthazar, one of my absolute favorite restaurants. Though his wife told the server that about her serious food allergy, Corden said she was brought the food in question. Thankfully, she hadn't eaten it and just sent it back. As her meal came wrong to the table the third time in the heat of the moment, I made a sarcastic comment about cooking it myself. It is a comment I deeply regret. I worked shifts at a restaurant for years. I have such respect and I value anyone that does such a job. That's interesting because the food allergy thing does make it a little different, but it also makes me wonder if it's true. So yeah, he said after Gordon told the New York Times last week he hadn't done anything wrong, McNally accused him of lying and implored him to at least admit he did wrong. If he goes one step further and apologizes to the two servers he insulted, I'll let him eat for free about the star for the next 10 years. Because I didn't shout or scream, like I didn't get up out of my seat. I didn't call anyone names or use derogatory language. I've been walking around thinking that I hadn't done anything wrong, but the truth is I have. He said Monday, noting the jab was rude, wrong, unnecessary, and ungracious to the server. Corden said if permitted to the Balthazar again, he'd like to go there and apologize in person, which is something I would absolutely do. I just love that this is a white scandal.
Ain't it though?
This is the worst thing that happened in whiteness last week. Where it's like, wow, James Corden might not be nice. He said, y'all ain't gonna Ellen me. Okay, I'm gonna get this free food. I'm sorry.
He said something sideways to the server. Didn't he raise his voice?
He said, it is my fault, y'all. Whatever y'all say, I did it. Just please let me get the free food. I need the food.
That's really must be one of his favorite places to eat.
It must taste great.
Yes, he 86, so you know he probably come there once a week. Cause in his routine, it's Tuesday night. Come on, baby, let's go on out here.
Let's see what else is going on with the whites. Billy Ray Cyrus' younger girlfriend, Fire Rose, shows diamond ring on that finger after divorce filing.
Not that finger.
That one.
Who got divorced? She got divorced. He got divorced.
Billy Ray Cyrus seemingly confirmed engagement rumors as his younger girlfriend, singer Fire Rose, showed off a diamond ring about 5 months after his wife of 28 years, Tish Cyrus, filed for divorce.
Oh, okay. So he just got a divorce.
Yeah, broke her achy breaky heart. The 61-year-old achy breaky heart hitmaker cuddled his lady love, who appears to be in her 20s.
Oh, she younger than his marriage.
Who showed off a massive diamond sparkle in an Instagram snap posted on Tuesday. He did not say anything about the ring in his caption, despite it being featured prominently as he captioned "Happy Autumn," red heart emoji, and you can see it's a big ass ring right there in your face.
Big ass ring.
Also look like she using a filter on her face. Is that her real face?
I don't know, but she's younger than his daughter.
She look like the protagonist from that movie about the snow. Let it snow.
Oh, talking about what's the name? I'm about to tear that up. What is it?
I don't know the name. That's why I ejected. I never got
Frozen. That's what it was.
Yeah, I never got to see Frozen.
It was Frozen. I was way off in my mind.
What was you gonna say?
I'm about to say Winterfest, but I was like, that shit don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. I was like, it's winter time.
Winterfest. That might be a better name.
I couldn't remember that name for nothing.
The couple did appear to look very happy as they cuddled up for sweet selfies. This comes weeks after reports that he is believed to be engaged to the songstress who was spotted with a huge diamond ring. Billy Ray and Fire Rose worked with one another on a single last year titled New Day. New Day, new pussy. Billy and Fire Rose, whose age is unknown. How the fuck is her age unknown? What?
Does she got a birth certificate or not?
Is that a thing we're letting famous people do now? There's people we don't know how old they are.
That they beside their name is the NA.
Maybe he just did. Maybe he's like, they asked him like, she seemed a little young for you. How old is she? Age unknown.
Age not available.
Age not available. Just don't even ask. Okay. She could be 50. I don't know. Let's just not. Well, she looks 20. Well, let's not ask. Let's just not.
This is the time people like, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah. So she definitely made sure to get that ring in every picture too.
Of course.
Oh my goodness. He's the father.
You gonna get these shots.
He's the father to 5 children. Brandy, 35.
35.
Mally, 29. Noah, 22. Sons Trace, 33, and Brazen, 28.
Ooh, sound like she might be younger than
all them kids.
That's what I'm about to say. All of them.
Possibly. Adding to the tension is confusion as the timeline as to when he and Fire Rose again seeing one another in her divorce filing earlier this year. Tish said that she and Billy Ray hadn't cohabitated in more than 2 years. Also, Billy Ray's relationship with superstar the relationship could impact his relationship with Miley, his daughter, according to the outlet, which reported that the father and daughter have unfollowed one another's Instagram accounts amid tension.
Oh shit, not unfollowed.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's real.
Honestly, I don't know what's like. It's one of those things where, like, obviously this 60-year-old man knows how this looks. There's no way he doesn't know how this looks.
He just doesn't care.
And obviously, this 20-something-year-old girl, she know how it look too. She's not stupid. She's not like 16. She's not stupid. It's not illegal. It's just kind of fucking weird. But maybe they just in love. Okay. Maybe.
What the fuck did they talk about?
A 61-year-old man is just in love with a very young, attractive woman who's probably having sex with him, you know? And maybe she want to be having sex with a 61-year-old, very rich, famous, influential man within the same industry as her. You know, it's like how Hollywood starlets start dating directors and producers. And it's just like, what a coincidence that love found them at a very convenient time when both of them needed something from each other.
Right.
Oh, man. Anyway, good luck to those kids. You'd love to see it. The whites. This is sad white news, but gay icon Leslie Jordan died in a car crash. They believe he suffered a medical emergency while driving in Hollywood Monday morning, and led to him crashing his BMW into the side of a building.
Oh,
and Leslie Jordan, if you don't know him from his roles on like Will and Grace,
dude, I've been seeing him on Twitter.
He's he was a guy that during the pandemic, he was very liberal and outspoken. He's very pro coronavirus safety, and so he really found a following on social media at that age. And he was doing TikToks, and he was fun, and he was always saying something positive.
Yeah, they started making gifts and memes off of him.
Yeah, and so I think in a weird way, social media fell in love with this guy as a star again, as an older person who knew how to navigate social media, unlike, Madonna yesterday. And it seemed like such a genuinely lovely thing it was like how people love Betty White or whatever. It was like that. And black people really loved this dude.
Yes, they did, because that's how I seen him.
Yeah. And so, it's very sad that he died. I think a lot of people were, very sad yesterday because he kind of found another life after, being like a TV guy. He kind of found another life after that not many people have been able to make it into that next level of like social media and whatnot. So yeah, rest in peace to Leslie Jordan. Climate activists throw mashed potatoes on a Monet work in Germany.
Y'all wasted good potatoes.
I have a feeling these potatoes weren't good.
Ah!
You know?
You have a feeling the potatoes was unseasoned.
Yeah, I mean, look, far be it from me to say with any level of authority, but just looking at the people that threw the potatoes, it's giving me the vibe.
They didn't even have butter, no salt,
not
no
tasty
pepper.
Potatoes.
You know what? They probably didn't use real potatoes. I bet you they did some potato flavor.
This is them throwing it. Hello. Then they glued their hands to the floor, which is the new thing activists are doing, which makes no fucking sense. People are starving, people are freezing, people are dying. And you know how, big oil barons really give a fuck about Monet paintings and art.
Why are you gluing your hands to the floor for me to just peel you up and still haul your ass to jail?
Yeah, the gluing the hands to the floor thing doesn't seem, it's not the flex y'all think it is. Mm-hmm. It also really highlights the privilege.
Right.
Because you know what you saying when you glue your hand to the floor is, I don't think you'll pull me off this floor because you don't want to hurt me.
That's what you're saying.
Okay. Like, that's not for everybody. Try this shit at home if you want on your own.
I pour some anti-glue shit down there and pop your ass up. Let's go.
Yep. Let's see. Texas woman films herself getting gored by bison at a state park.
She filmed herself by accident. Hopefully she was filming. It was like, oh no, and it just got closer.
She was walking on the trail alone, and she posted a video on TikTok. Her name is Rebecca Clark.
Leading bisons alone.
I was charged by a bison because I was too close to passing them on the railway.
Oh, I bet you probably you knew you too close. Bet you know people was like, be 100 feet from the bison. And you was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a little closer.
I'm posing to support safety while enjoying Texas state parks. In another video, she explained how the bison rammed her back, gored her, and threw her into a mesquite bush where she was there for 50 minutes until help arrived. Maybe the iPhone let people know a crash happened. Clark had limited phone service and no access to 911. She said she got messages through family and friends who called officials for help. She was transported to the hospital via helicopter. She has a gash on her back and lots of stickers and thorns, but it's okay. Hard lesson to learn, but I still love hiking at Cap Rock, she says.
Hard lesson?
Yep.
What? Hard lesson?
Hard lesson.
Stay the fuck away from bison. They told your ass that, and you said fuck the rules.
Well, now she's helping us be safe, Karen, by letting us know not to do the stupid shit she did that I was never going to do.
You ain't got to worry about me. Because I know you and Bossy did the recap of Atlanta, and the whole time I was like, outside bugs, no.
Bison are the largest land animal in North America. That means they need a lot more personal space than you do to feel comfortable, officials said. As a rule, stay at least 50 yards, half a football field between them and people. Officials said to use a rule of thumb to make sure you are far enough away. Stretch your arm out away from your face and give a bison a thumbs up. Close one eye. And if you can't cover the bison with your thumb, you're too close.
If you can't cover the bison with your thumb, back the fuck up.
Also, they said agitated or anxious bison will raise their tails up in a question mark like they did in Clark's video. So she's seen the signs. She just ignored them somehow and ended up on that Summer Jam screen. Here's the video.
There you go. Keep going.
Oh, you are way too
I don't want to deal with it.
Ma'am, you cannot.
I just want to go by. Come on, keep going. I just want to get by. Okay.
Oh, they stopped moving.
I appreciate it. Didn't want to go through the bushes again.
Okay, well, it seems like everything's gonna work out fine.
No.
Shit. Wait a minute.
Oh my god!
That didn't seem like it worked out.
No, it did not. We went from seeing bisons to hearing you scream and looking up at twigs.
Didn't seem like.
And I guarantee you, man, when you stuck your thumb out, like I say, one eye and put the thumb out. No, ma'am. Them bisons look like they parked cars next to you.
Oh my God!
Get exterminated!
Oh my God! Oh my!
Burn it!
Oh my God!
Burn it, dog!
Oh my God!
Get the fuck out of here, man!
Oh my God! Oh my God!
They say the bison raise up their tails in question marks as a warning sign. You know what the question mark means?
Who you finna try? I bet it ain't me. Oh, bitch, it ain't me. Caps. Who you finna?
Yeah, don't be fucking with them bison.
That's what that question mark means. Who are you finna try? Oh my God. Woo. White women, they wild as hell.
You got too close.
You ain't know.
They was like, what's that you claim?
She was talking to him too.
Right.
All right, just move across the street. Just go ahead. I'm gonna go my way. I'm like, nigga, I don't speak English. I speak these horns. Okay.
They look like, what are you doing here, you two-legged creature?
You know what everybody speak over here? Tusk.
Come on. and put like this, and I'm probably 300 to 400 pounds.
Right. Take this motherfucking, I guarantee, was I out your way?
I put like this, if not, I'll get you out the way. You ain't got to worry about us. You put like this, you in our way. Are we done here?
Okay.
That's exactly what that person said. Are we done here? As you take this horn to your back.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you had to lay there 50 minutes.
Right.
You could have died.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
They better keep his ass in jail because he come back out here. This gonna be a horror movie nightmare for his ass. He don't want to come back around here playing with me.
That's what that Bison said. It was walking off. It's gonna be a horror movie nightmare for your ass. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Woo. The whites, boy, they got confidence. I wouldn't have been able to do it.
But like, they think they can talk to animals until the animals start animaling.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's an animal.
You watch one too many movies, you think you can just fucking, you think this motherfucker gonna be out there talking about Hakuna Matata and shit. The fucking buffalo's like, bitch, this is my house. I live here.
You walked in my living room. What is you doing here?
Right.
They was like,
I want to call you one. Is it okay if I call him one?
That's what that buffalo.
That's what the buffalo was like.
That's what that tail raising up means. Right. Oh man. All right, let's wrap this up with some sword ratchetness and get the hell out of here. All right. All right, sword ratchet this time. A woman was stabbed with a sword. She was attacked by her son in mid-Wilshire neighborhood, family member says.
What?
Yep. She was attacked by her own son. Wait, did we do this one already? LAPD? I don't remember. 23-year-old man with a weapon, with a sword or machete. They use stun guns. I think we did this one.
Okay.
To take him into custody.
Okay, if we did. I don't remember. We can do another one.
I think we did. Fuck, they're all going together.
Yeah, if we didn't.
They're all going to fucking together.
We just cover another one.
Kansas City. Nope, did this one too. It just didn't. Okay. Here's another one. One killed in gun/sword fight. Let me guess which one. 5 men in the southern Vietnam Trinh province were detained Wednesday after killing a man in a gang fight using guns and swords. Giang Lien and Hyun Tai Ton had conflicts with one another and arranged a fight. On Monday, Giang Lien and his accomplices brought them with them guns, knives, and swords, along with other weapons, to look for Ton's gang. At noon the same day, upon seeing Ton's gang, John Lin group used guns to shoot at Ton and his group, wounding him. Ton eventually died from his injuries, while one of the underlings suffered a minor injury. Yeah, what'd you bring the other weapons for? You had a gun.
You had a gun.
Kind of renders the sword kind of useless in that situation. Y'all was just overkill, literally.
Yes.
Police caught the John Lin and his 4 accomplices Tuesday night as they were hiding in Traven. 5 guns and several knives and swords were also seized in the process. Someone left a comment on here. Wilson Muir says, "Bang! The Indiana Jones solution to a sword duel. Life imitating art and stupidity for retaining the pistols. Striped pajamas for the geniuses." Guess he has fun in these comments.
Apparently so.
And another person left a comment that said, "This is so-called momentary impulsiveness that results in harsh consequence. Being in jail, which definitely is unavoidable, is something they must pay." There you go. We got some commenters.
Some hot takes.
Yeah. If Terrell Jones want to pop up and say something. If he want to say something, we'll find out soon.
We'll find out soon.
Hating ass Terrell Jones.
Shout out to him.
Right. I would have shot him and stabbed him after I shot him. All right, y'all. That's it. We'll be back tomorrow with our Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon recap, and that'll be the finale for the season. So looking forward to that. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us late night.